The views expressed here are for educational purposes and reflect personal interpretation, not legal advice.
Semaje?
Hiyo shati inakaa ni kama imetoka kwa
Ime-
tumbo ya ng'ombe.
Mimi
Ama ni
ndio-
mdomo.
Ni ng'ombe.
You're the cow. Use the cow.
Yes.
All right, let's go. We're moving on very swiftly. Chapter 11,
Ndio hiyo.
part 5.
Yeah.
Wadau.
Mm.
Guy. Unajua inafikanga mahali unafikiria ile mambo ina happen kwa nchi yako.
Ndio like hiyo.
Cheesy. Sijui kama nyinyi mnakuwa kama mimi. Mimi nakaga hivi tu sometimes nafikiria hiyo mambo na tu nasikia tu hapana.
Ninakataa.
I don't know about you guys, but me, I don't like what's happening in this country.
Anyway.
Na scratch kichwa hadi na ngoa nywele hadi na bana. Alright.
Shapata kidimu mbaya.
Oh, huyu ndo kana kipara.
Ni hapa tu.
Ni
Unashangaa.
kubaya.
Hapa. Kila time.
Anyway,
Nasema
our hearts will always feel for all the people we lose. Be it the children we are losing in schools, be it the children we are losing through gender-based violence and other types of violence that we don't understand why children are being attacked, why children are going missing, be it the comrades who we keep losing each and every single time Kenyans go out to the streets to protest this or that other thing, be it the fuel prices, be it the Ebola stations being placed all over in this country, be it what or what, mining ndo hiyo ina happen, mara mmemoviwa, mara kuna bill fulani inapitishwa. Juzi watu wako public participation discussing the finance bill and suddenly they are goons.
imagine that you're entering a church where the place is having people are just having their constitutional right, exercising their constitutional right.
And to make matters worse, tunaangalia barabara ndizo hizo. Have you seen the state of the roads in the city?
Tell me more.
Park Road, umepitia Park Road?
I use those roads every day and let me tell you, it's torture, being torture.
Guy,
Jam iko everywhere. People, watu wanakaa kwa jam in over 2 hours.
so right now we are discussing relationships between governments.
And national, yes.
Cooperation between national and county governments.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are moving on.
Yes.
Article 189. The government at either level shall perform its functions and exercise its powers in a manner that respects the functional and institutional integrity of government at the other level, and respects the constitutional status and institutions of government at the other level, and in the case of county government, within the county level.
Yes.
Basically, kila serikali iko na power zake, iko na Kenya nafaa ifanye, tusikoseane heshima. Hivyo ndivyo wanaambiana.
Ni hivyo.
Sawa,
kila
wewe mtu wa county na mtu wa national government, wewe tusi kila mtu aelewe boundaries zake pia zinafika.
Yes.
All right. The government at either level shall also do what? Assist, support and consult and as appropriate implement the legislation of the other level of government. Okay.
Yes.
Assist, support and consult and as appropriate implement the legislation. So say for example, the national government has said that you have to do what?
You have to maybe pay levies on your business.
Yes, businesses. You get. You have to pay a certain levy on your businesses. So the county government can come in to consult, to even help them collect the monies that they need to collect.
Yeah.
So for example, when they need to do counting of the people, all those that is a national government affair, but then it trickles down.
Yeah.
Because
the counties.
Because the
They
counties,
people.
you can imagine, mnakumbuka kitambo tulikuwa na location, sub-location, division, district, province. You get?
Yeah.
They are still there, but now they have different names.
Yeah.
Because the province is now the region.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. But I think they disbanded regions.
But no, the regions are there. What happens is, the regions are there. Because even the PCs still exist. But nowadays, they are called county commissioners.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, so they removed the regions, but they brought in counties.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get?
Yeah.
So, no, when I say the regions are there, it's because it is still a level that is recognized. Kenya is still divided into 8 regions.
It is because it was used for so long.
The point is, even in schools today when children are being taught, they are taught regions.
Has it?
Yes. I'm saying because I have taught social studies.
In
CGC.
perspective to geography.
Eh?
Geography.
You geography are in high school. I'm talking about primary school. Social studies.
Yes.
It doesn't matter geography,
social
history.
studies is-
Social studies is all of that.
Yes.
So at this level, at there is a county.
Yeah.
Then now once you study the county,
Mm-hmm.
at that same level where you're studying the county, you also understand your region.
Yeah.
Right? Then now you go to the country, the next level.
Yeah.
You get? So the region is taught as it is still there, but it's not there. It's and since the PCs are now changed names,
To county
yes,
commission.
county commissions.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so all those people still help so that we can ensure that whatever services need to get to the people,
Yeah.
they get there.
From the government.
For example, even we look at immunization drives,
Yeah.
and children are being given vitamin A
For
supplement.
it to get to the common mwananchi.
It always goes through the county.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
So that is what they do. C.
Yeah.
Liars with government at the other level for the purpose of exchanging information, coordinating policies and administration, and enhancing capacity.
Yeah.
Right. So again, they help each other so that we have data. We need to work together to build something.
Yes. For the common good of the people.
That's what they're supposed to do. That's what the
But they
Constitution
don't
says on paper.
Other
That's
people
good.
do
Let's move. Number 2.
Government at each level and different governments at the county level shall cooperate in the performance of functions and exercising of powers, and for that purpose may set up joint committees and joint authorities.
All right.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So they cooperate to the point that they can even set up joint committees
And
joint authorities. All
Yes.
right.
Yes.
Number 3. In any dispute between governments, the government shall make every reasonable effort to settle the dispute, including by means of procedures provided under national legislation. All right.
Yeah.
So wakikosana,
Yes, they shall make every reasonable dispute, because remember the goal is to help the
common mwananchi, and to
Yes.
build the country.
yes.
Yes.
The further says the national legislation shall provide procedures for settling intergovernmental disputes by alternative dispute resolution mechanisms, including negotiation, mediation, and arbitration. Now there is one question we have about I always have about this constitution when it comes to the national legislation. When do they provide these procedures? Because every time you hear our
That is
national
the thing.
people debating, they are not debating. Na sasa ikifika masaa we need this to apply in the rule of law. That's when people come together, wanaanza kutengeneza vitu zao, and they say that's it.
I understand. And that is it. That is why we have acts of parliament.
Yeah.
So there are those acts of parliament that already exist. Some of them are outdated.
Yeah.
Some of them
need new ones.
Yes.
Like
So-
this one, I don't think there is
That exists.
Yeah.
We should check. It is probably there.
It is
It
probably
is
not
there.
there.
It is probably not there.
Yeah.
So ladies and gentlemen, you see
This is
how
the
it
work of
important.
our national government, our national
Assembly.
assembly. Yeah.
Parliament.
Legislation
Parliament.
to make
Bunge.
such legislation.
Wakenya, bunge.
You see, why we have a court case ya kina Gachagua, ilikuwa ni juu ya story kama hizo.
So
These
kama
people,
hii gani?
they went to Siku and they thought, hey, we've never tried to get out of a deputy president. How is this being done? They went to the constitution, and the constitution says the national legislation shall provide a procedure. So,
But the procedure is there. For the deputy president, we read it.
yeah.
You can go through the
But if you go through it, you'll find that the national legislation.
Yes, at the very end, there is
Yes.
always, and that is the thing.
Yeah.
If you actually go to the legislation, and that's why we said, once we are done with this, we go into the Acts of Parliament.
Yeah.
My brother, that one I'm sure is there.
You'll follow it.
I'm sure it's there. What will happen is, it was probably one that was made in the 60s or 70s or 80s. That
they-
never been revised
Yeah.
after.
They tried to
Probably
use it
it's been
again,
revised. Chini ya maji. Remember, we only started getting involved in the matters of our country in 2024.
Very easy.
Before that, things were just happening.
Yeah,
Okay?
yeah.
So now let's just move. National legislation shall provide procedures for settling. We've read that.
Intergovernmental disputes,
By alternative dispute resolution
Yeah.
mechanisms, including negotiation, mediation, or
arbitration.
We need to to know some of these things.
Negotiations, yeah.
Yes. So we negotiate or
Yeah.
we mediate or we arbitrate.
Mhm.
I know mediation, I know
Mhm.
negotiation.
Yeah.
Arbitration bado sijaishika vizuri sana.
Arbitration is hata mimi sijui. Let's ask
Nilikuwa naangalia hiyo tutaangalia siku nyingine.
Yeah.
Support for county governments. Article 190,
Yeah.
part 1 says,
Mhm.
Parliament shall by legislation
Mhm.
ensure that county governments have adequate support to enable them to perform their functions.
So hakuna venye ati the parliament should tell the county government ati there is no enough money to supply to the county.
But they are still not given money.
Yeah.
County governments shall operate financial management systems that comply with any requirements prescribed by national legislation. Okay.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And parliament shall by legislation provide for intervention by the national government if a county government A is unable to perform its functions, or B does not operate a financial management system that complies with the requirements prescribed by national legislation.
All right. So do we have a county that has been found to not operate things according to national legislation?
Do they check?
Good
So
question. Legislation under clause 3
Yeah.
may, in particular, authorize the national government A to take appropriate steps to ensure that the county government's functions are performed and that it operates a financial management system that complies with the prescribed requirements, and B, if necessary, to assume responsibility for the relevant functions. So the national government can take and be like, yo, we are the ones managing this now. Yeah. Let's go number 5.
So number 5 says the legislation under clause 3 shall
A.
require notice to be given to a county government of any measures that the national government intends to take. B. Permits the national government to take only measures that are necessary. C. Requires the national government, when it intervenes, to take measures that will assist the county government to resume full responsibility for its functions.
So the national government should not take forever.
Yes. And D. Provide for a process by which the Senate may bring the intervention by the national government to an end.
So the intervention is not forever.
Yes.
It has to have an end.
It has to have a time
A limit.
That's what they said. But they have not given the time limit, remember? They have not said. They have
No, you
just
see,
said
the
it
point
has-
is, the national government has taken over. Now that you've taken over, tell us, how long do you intend? Through the Senate,
Yes.
provide
They are
us
required
with a timeline.
to give us a timeline.
Yes.
Mhm.
Conflict of laws, Article 191. Now, this article applies to conflicts between the national and county legislation in respect of matters falling within the concurrent jurisdiction of both levels of government. Now, remember, there are certain services. For example, we said health. Health is partly devolved and partly national.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
we look at education. It's partly devolved and partly national.
Yeah.
All right. So the fact that some of these jurisdictions lie on both sides, it is bound to have conflict. So the Constitution has provided for ways in which we're supposed to handle this. 2, national legislation prevails over county legislation if A, the national legislation applies uniformly throughout Kenya and any of the conditions specified in clause 3 is satisfied, or B,
the national legislation is aimed at preventing a reasonable action by a county that, number 1, is prejudicial to the economic, health, or security interest of Kenya or another county,
or
impedes the implementation of national economic policy.
So you see, it will only prevent if this will mess up and spoil things between Kenya, within Kenya or with another country, or
county to
it
another
will
county.
make the implementation of an economic policy. For example, the bottom-up economic policy.
Yeah.
If a county is trying to come in
With a
between that,
stadium, and maybe the
the county is impeding that.
County wants a mill or a factory.
Then these laws are some of the the conflict that we are talking about. 3. The following are the conditions referred to in clause 2A. So clause 2A says the national legislation applies uniformly throughout Kenya, and any of the conditions specified in clause 3 is satisfied. So which are these conditions? A. The national legislation provides for a matter that cannot be regulated effectively by legislation enacted by the individual counties. A matter that cannot regulated effectively by so we cannot just manage it as Nairobi alone and leave Nakuru out of it. Nakuru cannot just manage it alone. For example, COVID. Okay.
Yes.
If we leave it to certain counties,
India cannot manage anything alone.
Yeah, you know. So we need to come together. B. The national legislation provides for a matter that to be dealt with effectively requires uniformity across the nation, and the national legislation provides that uniformity by establishing 1. Norms and standards, or 2. National policies, or
the national legislation is necessary for A. the maintenance of national security, the maintenance of economic unity, the protection of the common market in respect of mobility of goods, services, capital, and labor, the promotion of economic activities across county boundaries, the promotion of equal opportunities or equal access to government services, or the protection of the environment.
So ni mambo gani ambayo hii legislation is necessary for? 1. National security. Bana tuhakikishe that kila kitu
lazima wa cooperate na
national government to make sure that security
is very well
exactly. Yes. Economic unity. Hii nchi tusikue na area zingine zina grow na zingine zinabaki. Na hiyo ndio situation iko saizi. Hadi tunajipata tuko na jamaa anaenda ku apologize kwa watu fulani ati umeachwa nyuma kwa develop. Umeachwa nyuma kitu gani? Are you not in government? Are you not there?
Yes.
You've
been having MPs. You've been having
next. The protection of the common market in mobility of goods, services, capital and labor. Tusipate watu wanashindwa kutoka kwa kaunti moja kwenda ingine.
Ati mtu anashindwa kupeleka vitu zake kwa soko ama mahali pengine.
Promotion of economic activities across county boundaries.
Watu waweze squat ni mahali pamoja, watu wanaandika
kutangamana kutengeneza pesa. Kama ni mambo ya kutengeneza kila mtu
anatengeneza
exactly. 5. Promotion of equal opportunity or equal access to government services. Kama ni huduma center, kama ni passport, ninataka kwenda kuchukulia passport Mombasa, I can go to Mombasa to apply for my passport.
Si ati natoka ati Kilifi lazima niende Nairobi.
Exactly. Ama hata ni shule. My child can study in Kakamega. If I am in
si ati mtoto mwenye kwa shule ya serikali ya Nairobi anasomea kwa darasa na kuna mtoto mwingine anasomea kwa shule ya serikali Garissa na anasoma chini ya mtu.
Na kama pia ni afya ya mazingira. Sasa tuko hapa kwa
protection of the environment.
Sasa so those are some of the reasons why legislation national legislation may need to come in place of the so that each can
cooperate together.
Yes.
To make things happen.
Number 4, county legislation prevails over national legislation if neither of the circumstances contemplated in clause 2 apply. All right. 5.
In considering an apparent conflict between legislation of different levels of government, a court shall prefer a reasonable interpretation of the legislation that avoids a conflict to an alternative interpretation that results in conflict.
Najua there's something about the law. Wanasemanga the law is very clear. Lakini unfortunately
it is very
unclear. Because lawyers have a way of twisting things.
Tukisikia hii statement
hii inasema nini? Kuna interpretation hapa hivi tutaona hii ina make sense. This makes sense. Na hapa kuna interpretation nyingine bado ina make sense. So now koti inafaa ingilie iseme kwa hizi interpretation zenu hivi ndivyo tutapelekana. Hivi ndivyo inafaa ikue. Sawa. So that tusikuwe na situation mbili yenye zote mbili zina make sense ambazo
zina conflict.
Number 6, a decision by a court that a provision of legislation of one level of government prevails over provision of legislation of another level of government does not invalidate the other provision. But the other provision is inoperative to the extent of the inconsistency. Hey, wadau.
Umesikia kizungu imetumika hapo?
A decision by a court that a provision of legislation of one level of government prevails over a provision of legislation of another level of government does not invalidate the other provision. But the other provision is inoperative to the extent of the inconsistency. Now, don't depart mimi sielewi ni hapa extent of inconsistency. Lakini kitu mnajua ni county government, national government. Tumeinterpret
tunaona huyu ndio
ana make sense, ndio? Huyo kiambiwa ana make sense. Haimaanishi hii haiko. Inamaanisha hii
akipatiwa upper hand pia tunaweza enda nayo.
Hii iko lakini limit yake iko hapa. Iko na limit.
Kuna mahali inafika na kata. Inashindwa na hii nyingine. But sasa wamesema hapa kwa inconsistency. In case waende kwa koti, waseme huyu mwenye hapa chini ndio ako na upper hand. The rule applies to the person mwenye amepatiwa kesi wa mwisho. Mwenye ameshinda hiyo kesi wa mwisho.
Tukijipata kwa koti.
So, wakienda tena wabadilisha hiyo kesi, the inconsistency itaenda na hiyo inconsistency. Wakisema ni huko juu, wende huko juu. Wakisema wende huko chini,
mimi sijaelewa kitu nimesema ndugu yangu.
Ni venye ni kama ni tuende kwa mwalimu, aseme hii pen niende nimwambie kalamu ni yangu. Aseme sawa, hii kalamu ni yako. Alafu uende useme hii kalamu ticha ni yangu. Ticha achukue hii kalamu aseme hii kalamu nimepea huyu. Unaona hiyo inconsistency?
Sijaona.
One thing remain on two things.
Imechoka.
It's out.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is We the People podcast. Asante sana. Tutaangalia hiyo mambo ya inconsistency. Kwa sababu
it is very inconsistent.
Sijaelewa hiyo inconsistency. Tunashukuru.